Welcome to Shri Shri Pad Baba VMST lecture series on Shri Vishnu Sahasranam Stotram. Today we are taking up the aspect of formulations, supplet and synthesis. Formulations are the mathematical formulations, and these formulations are of geometric format, and these geometric formats are of the values features of Sthapatya miring rod. Sthapatya miring rod is a synthetic setup of hypercubes 1 to 6, the representative regular bodies of 1 space to 4 space. As such, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to comprehend and imbibe the aspect of supplet and synthesis of formulations. One is to be face to face with the format, features and values of Sthapatya miring rod. Formulations as such are the formulations of Devanagari Varnamala. The alphabet letters are being availed, and the formulations are formed like Devmala itself. So Dev, Nagari, Varnamala are the formulations. These formulations combine, these formulations supplet as sub-formulations. Therefore, today our focus is going to be upon this aspect of supplet and synthesis of the formulations, and as these formulations are availing values and geometric formats of Sthapatya miring rod, therefore the synthesis and the supplet of these formulations are going to be the aspects of domain, supplet, and of transcendence, and the synthesis of the dimensional frames. Dimensional frames or dimensions, these synthesize. So dimensions of synthesis, we know, is a phenomenon which for linear dimensions are taking us to the values 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 28 and so on. So single linear dimension is of value 1, pair of linear dimensions are of value 3, triple are of value 6, quadruple of value 10, pent of value 15, hex of value 21, hept of value 28 and so on. When we, instead of linear dimensions, we are having the spatial dimensions, then the values come to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and so on. A step ahead, where we are at solid dimensions, then the values, as we know, come to be like that. There is going to be synthesis for the formulations as well, and the supplet domain supplet, we know that this domain as single entity splits into a pair of entities, like n space domain is splitting into a pair of domains of value n minus 2, parallel to n minus 2 being the dimension of n. And here simultaneously emerges dimension of dimension, and these two streams further lead to a pair of streams n minus 4, n minus 4, here as well n minus 4, n minus 4. So at this stage, when there is original single entity, at the first step there are pair of entities, then at next step come to be 5 entities, and 12, 29, 70, and 70. This is a domain split feature we know, and it is the dimension synthesis we know. But when we are at the formulations like the Dev, these are called Shabd. So from Varan means letter, when go to Akshar means syllable, and from syllables when we go to Shabd, there are sequential formulations, and these formulations are availing Devanagari alphabet letters. Varan letters are being availed. These letters are 9 vowels, 25 Varga consonants, quadruple Anthastha letters, and quadruple Ushmana letters. Also we are having Yama letters, but for the present, for this aspect, we are restricting ourselves only to vowels, Varga consonants, Anthastha letters, and Ushmana letters, as these 42 letters are coordinated by the Maheshwara Sutras. Therefore, for the present, when we are taking up the aspect of split and synthesis of the formulations, that means we are restricting ourselves to these 42 letters only. Of these 42 letters, the vowels constitute a distinct class, and it is the vowels. Say the first vowel is O, then it is of value 1, and this value as one space will be taking us to -1 as its dimension, and the -1 space then as a domain will be taking us to value -3 as the dimension of dimension. As such, the vowel, first vowel, will be taking us to triple values 1, -1 and -2, domain, dimension, and a dimension of dimension, and product values 3. Therefore, the transcendence by availing the format of the first vowel will lead us to value 3. However, when we are at elongated A, means A plus A, means a pair of first vowels, then this is leading to value 3, and this value is also leading to value 3. Therefore, the synthesis of this pair of values will lead to value 5. Like that, we can make a table that the first vowel O as transcendence leads to value 3, while value O leads to value 5. Like that, value E takes to value 0. As we know, 2 is having 0 as dimension and -2 as dimension of dimension, and product of 2, 0 and -2 is leading to value 0. It is this way that we are having complete tabulation of the transcendence through these 9 vowels. This way, when we are having these features available with us, then we have to reach at the split and synthesis of the formulations. For it, the first step is that we shall acquaint ourselves well with the Devanagari Varanamala as of its 42 letters, and these letters are having association of values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. These are called Moolank, and these basic numbers values are also leading us to parallel geometric formats. Value 1 is leading to one space with hypercube 1 as its representative regular body. Value 2 takes us to 2 space with hypercube 2 as representative regular bodies, and sequentially we reach at value 9 as 9 space with hypercube 9 as its representative regular body. Therefore, from Devanagari Varanamala, we have to reach at Mool Ank Vyavastha, and a step ahead we have to reach at Divya Ank Vyavastha. This Divyang Vyavastha would mean that we are having a light, Prakash, Jyoti, flowing through the Bindu Sarovar, the first component of soul syllable Om, and there is going to be a flow of 7 streams. It is a Brahm and it is of value 9, and from here there is a flow of 7 streams as 9 space is accepting 7 space in the role of a dimension. If we proceed from the other end, from the swastik pada, we know it will be leading us to value 1, and 1 as a dimension will be leading us to value 3. Therefore, if we reach from this end, we will reach from value 1 to 3. However, from the other end, we will reach at value 9 to 7. It is here in between that we are from both ends reaching at value 5. This value 5 would mean we will be reaching a 5 space. Here initially we are starting with 3 space, then we are reaching at 4 space, and now we are at 5 space, and 5 space is being reached from its both ends, and this reach is from 9 space to 7 space, and here it is reach from 1 space to 3 space. So we are reaching at value 5 in pair of ways, in both ways. It is this feature which will help us appreciate that this value is going to be value 30, and which is equal to 6, 7, 8 and 9. That means 6 space is going to play the role of a dimension. So it is from Surya, the Vishnu Lok. From Vishnu Lok there is a churning, and this churning as a Divya Ganga Parvaha is a Divyang Vyavastha along the quadruple components of soul syllable Om, and ultimately it will be leading us to this Divya Ank Vyavastha. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of virtue to have appreciation of the split and synthesis features of the formulations shall sequentially acquaint themselves with Devanagari Varnamala, Mool Ank Vyavastha, and reach at Divya Ank Vyavastha. Underlying, as we have seen, we are availing the format of a Sthapatya mirroring rod and the pair of phenomenon of a domain split spectrum and dimensions of synthesis. So dimensions of synthesis, domain split spectrum, and a reach is going to be of a Jyoti flow through the orb of the sun, means from the origin of 6 space, that means from the pole star with the Vishnu Lok means a 6 space. So in our solar universe there is going to be a churning, and this churning amounts to a manifestation, and this manifestation is ultimately to fill the Sanatana, a Pushpika fulfilled with the total transcendental value Divya Ank Vyavastha, and Divya we know is value 17, which is the value of the Atma, and it is of the value of the Dravya, this content. So the content, transcendental content, as it is along a flow format, it is this flow format of the transcendental content fulfilling our space. What happens when our space is fulfilled with the transcendental content? It leads to Kal Vidhi Vidhan. It is this feature of our solar universe, the universe. What is the constitution? What is the law? What is the procedure? What are the steps? What are the attainments of this space fulfilled with the transcendental content? When this transcendental content fulfills, so we know the call is the formulation which is having TC value 9, Vidhi is the formulation which is of TC value 18, Vidhan is the formulation which is the value 27. See, triple values 9, 18 and 27 accept an organization 3 into 3, 3 into 6 and 3 into 9. That means it takes us to value when 3 as 3 is equal to 1. It is this feature which will help us appreciate that here we will be reaching at 1 into 3, 1 into 6 and 1 into 9. It will lead us to value that 3 is going to be the TC value of the letter SAW, 6 is the transcendental value of letter SHA, and 9 is the transcendental value of HA. Means this call vidhi vidhan is the vidhan of these Ushmana letters. There are quadruple Ushmana letters, and these quadruple Ushmana letters are of the quadruple TCV values 2, 3, 4 and 6. We know value 2 is parallel to 2 space, and we know 2 space plays the role of a dimension of a 4 space, and 4 space is playing the role of an origin of 3 space. So it is here that the origin of a 3 space is a 4 space, and it is of a spatial order. So this transcendence of a spatial order from the origin of a 3 space amounts to its superimposition upon the linear order of a 3 space. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well, as it is this feature which is the feature of a Visfort at the origin, and it is this Visfort which will be taking us that from 5 space in the role of a origin of a 4 space, and 5 space is a solid order space, and value 3 is equal to value 1 plus 2, and further we know that pair of linear dimensions as such are also synthesizing value 3. From here we see that the Ushmana letter SHA as a spatial order superimposed upon the linear order, leading us to value 3. Once this happens, then we know that within a cube we can have a simultaneous manifestation for the interval, square, and the cube. So all the triple formulations get manifested within the cube itself. It is this remanifestation feature of all the triple within the cube itself will help us that when there is a transcendence phenomenon and there is a superimposition, then at the next 3 steps we will be getting the values, and it is this phenomenon, it is this feature which will make a call vidhi vidhan. So for a call vidhi vidhan, we have to revisit the enlightenment as that Lord Brahma, a 4-head Lord, sits comfortably on the lotus seat of 8 petals, and each of the quadruple heads is equipped with a pair of eyes. So it is hypercube 4. This hypercube 4 set up with a transcendence at its origin, which will amount to a multiplication for the Brahma as 10 Brahmas. It is going to be reached to the creative boundary of a 5 space. So 10 components are going to constitute a boundary of the transcendental domain. It is this phenomenon which deserves to be comprehended well. Lord Brahma, in the role of a 4 space as a domain, is transcending into a new role. This role is going to be of a creative boundary. So 4 space is transcending as the creative boundary. So from domain we are reaching at a boundary. Further we know that we are having 10 components, and 10 components would mean 10 hypercube 4 bodies, means 10 into 4 is equal to 40. Let us have a pause here. Let us see that 4 space is having 9 geometries range. 4 space is having 9 geometries range. Value call, the formulation call is having TC value 9. However, the transcendence here will lead us to value 40. It is this reach for the formulation call from value 9 to value 40 which deserves to be comprehended well. With it, the vidhi we know is going to lead us to value va and e. It will lead us to value 0, like that dha and e 0. Therefore, call vidhi, so pair of 0 values leading to value 2. It is this feature that the call vidhi vidhan is a vidhan which will lead us to value 101. We can have a pause here and take note that Yajurved is a Ved of 101 branches, and Yajurved Samhita is a scripture of 40 chapters. So, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of virtue, knowing the synthesis and split of the formulations parallel to domain split and dimension synthesis format features along the Sthapatya miring rod will be in a position to appreciate by fully imbibing the implications and the steps of the call vidhi vidhan, which at the initial stage is leading us to a format of value 9, 18 and 27, which will take us to the format of the Ushmana letters. So the transcendence from the origin, which is a compactified range. So compactified range of origins beginning with 3 space, with 4 space as its origin, and the transcendence at the origin of 3 space will amount to that spatial order will get superimposed upon the linear order. Spatial order value 2 getting superimposed upon linear order value 1, making a setup of 1 and 2. This setup of 1 and 2 is the setup of a Kram Samapti. We know that Kram TC value 13, Samapti is of value 26, 1 into 13 and 2 into 13. So it is this 1 and 2. Therefore, within its surface, we can simultaneously have interval and surface both. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. The moment we will be appreciating this feature, then we will be appreciating call vidhi vidhan, how the call time is going to be the ultimate constitution, law, procedure applicable to the existence phenomenon within the solar universe. Let us illustratively take up the different formulations. Say Prakriti, it is of value 18, Purusha, it is of value 24. Now, Prakriti is a composition of triple syllables, and these syllables are leading us to value 7, 5 and 6, making value 18. Purusha is taking us to value 8, 9 and 7, taking us to value 24. Now see, when we are having a transcendence here, we know it will be taking us to Pa, Ra and A. Or we know it will take us to value 1, -1 and -3 means value 3. It is value 5 and 3. It makes value 8. 8 multiplied by 3 gives us value 24. Now here 4 is leading us to 4 to value 0, product value 0. Here value 2, 2, 0 and -2 again takes to value 0. So here transcendence value comes to be 0. Here is value 0. Here is value 28. See how it takes to value 24. See Prakriti, nature, is transcending a content, value 24, which will be manifesting as Purusha. How Purusha, human frame, existence phenomenon within human body, is a manifested space content, transcendental space content, 5 space content, which is flowing, which is lively, which is vibrating as Prakriti. Nature is a universal reservoir of a source from which, because of which, in terms of which, there is going to be a flow of the transcendental content within our space, and this space fulfilled with this transcendental space content is of the formate features which manifest as a Purusha. How Purusha, human body, is manifesting within this universe is the glimpse which the sadhakas shall blissfully absorb. Moment one will be parallel to this natural phenomenon of space being fulfilled with transcendental content of value which manifests as a Purusha, then one can say that we are parallel to the Vedic systems. And value 18 we know is itself a manifestation of quadruple 3, 4, 5, 6 of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of a 5 space. One shall sit comfortably, one shall permit the transcending mind to be parallel to, with, as how Prakriti itself manifests, how the transcendence of the Prakriti format as Purusha is happening within our solar universe. It is this comprehension which will provide the requisite enlightenment and the appropriate insight for being parallel to the Vedic systems which are making Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences and Vedic technologies. First formulation of the Ganita Sutra is Ekadhike. Let us revisit it. It is a setup of 5 syllables. This range of 5 syllables are leading us to value 6, 6, 9, 10 and 9. However, the transcendence as such for value 6 as a 6 space will be taking 6, 4 and 2. Value Ka will take us to the value 4 for the value Ka Brahma and value 5 as the transcendence value for all. The we know will lead ultimately to value 0. K will take us to value is 192. Now will take us to value 84. It is making total value 284. We know 284 is 283 plus 1 and 283 are the letters of the Ganita Sutras. So entire 16 Ganita Sutras, entire 16 Ganita Sutras text is availing in all 283 letters. Therefore, we shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be face to face with how the Ekadhikain, the first formulation, as it is providing us a transcendence format for the flow of the transcendental content as of value 284, and the range of 284 will be providing us 283 gaps, and from here will be flowing the manifestation of the text of the Ganita Sutras. One shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be parallel to the manifestation of the text of Ganita Sutras as of the range of value 283, parallel to 283 gaps of value 284, and value 284 we know is 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 3 and 2 raised to power 2. C. It takes us to above value is this and lower value is 222. These both values as such independently as well are basic values, and these basic values are providing us the formats for the mathematics, sciences and technologies of the Ganita Sutras. Sadhakas shall further revisit the another formulations. One is Jad Chetan. This pair of formulations, Jad and Chetan, these formulations will lead us to values 11 and 22, transcendence values 27 and 22, and this value will lead us to value 132, and 132 is the value 27 plus 105. This is value 3 into 3 into 3. It is value 3 into 5 into 7. Therefore, how the values format sequentially Ekadhikain Purvain and symmetrically 3 to 5 to 7. Both formats as such are synthesizing. It is this flow and this synthesis flow which will making Jad and Chetan, and it will help us reach at value 132 as we have seen there. Now let us visit the formulation Narayan. It is going to be of quadruple syllables leading to value 10, 5, 2 and 8, value 25. The transcendence along these formats is going to be value 79, and value 79 we know accepts a split as 50 and a 29. 59 is the transcendence value of the formulation Maya, and 29 is the TC value of the formulation Brahma. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to be parallel to the values manifested and values transcendental for the same formulation is a mathematics, science, technology, and this mathematics, science and technology of the formulations can be followed by following the split and synthesis phenomenon of these formulations parallel to the domain split and dimension synthesis phenomenon of the flow along the Sthapatya miring rod. As such, they start with base is of a Sthapatya miring rod, and then there is a domain split and a dimension synthesis. As formulations, it is Devanagari Varnamala, the Moolank Vyavastha, Divyank Vyavastha, making Kal Vidhi Vidhan. This is Vidhan which ultimately will have a transcendence for us from the Rig Ved to a Yajurved. It is this reach from Rig Ved to a Yajurved and other way around from Samved to a Rig Ved, and then ultimately the Atharved, combining all these features and making it a Atharved as the Ved of the mathematics, sciences and technologies of the Vedic systems in its entirety. One shall sit comfortably, one shall permit the transcending mind to be parallel to the Vedic way to approach the Vedic systems. Vedic way to approach the Vedic systems is to follow the Brahman enlightenment path. The Brahman enlightenment path is that one shall sit comfortably and have a transcendence within the cavity of one's own heart, as is the enlightenment of Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme, sitting comfortably, meditating within the cavity of his own heart at the seat of the Transcendental Lord, and with the grace of the Transcendental Lord, Lord Brahma multiplying as 10 Brahmas. It makes Kal Vidhi Vidhan. So Kal Vidhi Vidhan is to be followed. Kal Vidhi Vidhan works, and this Kal Vidhi Vidhan is that Prakriti is fulfilling the Akash with the Divyata, with Divya, Dravya, and this fulfilled Akash with the Divya Dravya will be capable of manifesting human frame, the Purusha. The format, features, values of manifestation of a Purusha, because of the space being fulfilled with Divya Drav. These are the format, features and values. These format, features and values flow along the Sthapatya miring rod. Sthapatya miring rod is a synthetic setup of the representative regular bodies of hypercubes 1 to 6. This synthesis and split is a domain split and dimension synthesis. This domain split and dimension synthesis, format, features and values of the Sthapatya miring rod are at the base of the split and synthesis of the formulations. Formulations are availing Devanagari alphabet letters. Each alphabet letter is accepting association of a value Brahmank, and these values are ultimately resulting into a transcendence through the vowels, swaras, and this transcendence as Divyank Vivastha will ultimately lead us to Kal Vidhi Vidhan. And it is Kal Vidhi Vidhan which will help us appreciate how the Prakriti is fulfilling Akash with Divya Drav, which is of the format, features and values, as is the manifestation of a Purusha. So the existence phenomenon within human frame, the existence phenomenon within the rays of the sun, and the existence phenomenon in a unified state of our solar universe is to be chased in terms of the format, features and values of domain split and dimension synthesis permissible and available while a flow along the Sthapatya miring rod. Thank you very much.